beauty. Today I have a first impressions on a palette that I've been flirting with a lot online, wanting to get, and I was holding off, and I finally decided to get, which is the Catwalk Anastasia Beverly Hills eyeshadow palette. This is the little box that comes with it. It's a very cute shiny holographic little design. In the back it tells you what the shades are, so there's 10 shadows in this palette. So here's what the palette looks like. Tiny, you know, not tiny, but nice size. Let me see to compare with something that you might know. So this is the Lorac Pro palette. It's, you know, 2/3 of the size, I guess. There's, you know, but the shades are nice and somewhat neutral, and at the same time with a little nice pop of color. So you know, this is so 10 shades. There are 3 matte shades here in this palette, which are 3 perfect matte shades, which is this one right here, which is it's a perfect transition color, and these 2 right here, which is a matte black and a matte dark warm brown, which is beautiful for the crease or at a V or whatever. It also comes with a tiny brush like this. It's a double-ended brush. On this side a little bit more like a smudger or like a crease brush, and then on this side more your traditional shading brush. So I'm gonna show you swatches of the palette up closer so you can see. Are the shades. So the matte black, and I'll say the names here based on what the box has. You see the shade names are all in the back here, but there are no actual shade names on the palette. It would be nice if it was printed right in the bottom here so we could refer to it. But anyhow, so starting with the black, the matte black here, this is LBD. The brown one, which for me is very pretty, it's sort of like Swiss chocolate, I think, or corduroy by MAC. Very pretty. It's called Beauty Mark. This shade right here is called Scout, and it's probably my favorite shade on this palette. It's like a peachy pink color, very shimmery, very, very nice. This one is Strut, which was one of those that in the palette look kind of purple, but when you swatch has more of that dark tone to it with a little bit of glitter. And then this one right here is that typical champagne, shimmery champagne that, you know, we see, and it's called Callback. And then starting that down here, we have this one. It's a matte, nice shade that could be used for a nice transition color. This one is called Day Rate. This one here, it's a nice brown, shimmery brown, and it's called Couture. This is a nice pretty one. These 2 are my favorites. This is like a coppery shade, and it's called RTW. This one here is a goldeny shade, not like that yellow gold, but, you know, lighter gold. This is called 10K. And lastly, this one here, which has a little bit of a purple undertone. It's a very pretty shade as well, and it's called Pose. I'm going to start with the top row. So starting with the matte black. You can see it's very nice and pigmented. So that's LBD. Then the brown one, which is Beauty Mark. Then my favorite color, which is Scout. It doesn't really swatch as nicely. Actually, they did pretty well here right now. Next is Strut, which is that purple one that swatches more like a dark something. It's hard to really see the purple in here. And then lastly, this is Callback, which is like a champagne, shimmery, golden color. So again, this is the top row. Then move on to the second row. I start with the first one here, which is Day Rate, which is that matte. This one probably you won't be able to see much on my arm. It's a very skin tone kind of shade with a little bit of a pink tone to it. Next is Couture, which is nice shimmery brown right there. Then we have RTW, which is for me it's like a coppery shade, also very pretty. Next to it I have 10K, which is a gold, but not that much of that yellow gold that we see like in the Naked palette there. And then lastly it's Pose, which has a little bit of a purple undertone to it, like a taupey kind of color. There we go. So overall, I'm happy with the quality of these shadows. I've never had any Anastasia Beverly Hills products. This is my first one. I don't have any of their brow powders or any of their palettes, other palettes that they have that I know they do. So this is definitely my first product. I'm impressed with the quality of the shadows. I think they blend very well. They are pigmented. They're not the most pigmented shadows I've ever seen, but they are pigmented. I did a little look today using some of my favorite shadows on this palette. Perhaps I'll do a tutorial at some point with this palette as well. Overall, I think I'm pleased with the selection of colors and shades in the palette. I think the price point is fair as well compared to most of the eyeshadow palettes out there. Majority of them are on the 30-something range or 40-something range. This one is $29, which I think it's more, you know, it's a fair price compared to most. So overall, I would give it a go if you're interested in this palette and you're on the fence like I was for a long time. I think it's a great palette to start knowing the brand. Usually eyeshadow palettes is a great way to get introduced to a brand, so that's how I decided to get introduced to Anastasia Beverly Hills. So I'm overall impressed with this palette. I'm looking forward to using more and more, and hopefully I'll do a tutorial. Let me know if you'd like to see a tutorial using this palette. If you have any questions or suggestions or anything else, leave me comments below. Thanks for watching this video, and I'll see you next time. Bye!